The real focus of this is, yes, it is SL customers, but it's also something that we focus on for our Business Central customers as well. And there's kind of 3 points that we're going to bring out. One is obviously if they're an SL customer, is that there is a cloud migration tool available. It's available to copy your SL data out of SL into Business Central to start you in your journey into Business Central. Now, along with that, we have something called the SL overlay. Now, the name makes you think, okay, this is only for Dynamics SL users, but it really isn't. I know it's the name that we've been given by Microsoft. Just as a background for you people on the call, SL overlay is something that we propose to Microsoft as creating a set of features that will add on top of Business Central that will give some SL type flavor. We are not here to rewrite Business Central in the way that SL works, but we're here to add some functionality that we think will make it easier for an SL customer to move over to Business Central. Now, with that in mind, the way we did is we have a group of SL users, we have a group of BC users and consultants, and we've worked together to create this thing called the overlay. And the important thing that you should take out of that is that, yes, these are features that will definitely help our SL customers that are ready to move, but these are features that are built with the idea that all Business Central users could use these. So we'll get into these in just a second about what these features are. And again, the big thing here is available to all BC users. And you see highlighted in blue here, these features are available for free. You might say, free, why would I want to push this? The reason we want to push this is you're going to instantly bring value add to your customers. You're showing that you understand these are the areas that people are asking for. You're adding free functionality, and most of the time we're finding that when people hear about this and deploy it is that they've got ideas of things that they'd like to do as well, which means additional services. So we wanted you to push this on every existing Business Central customer, on all of your SL customers that are moving over. That's where we really need to focus, and we need to get these out there. We'll talk about that here in just a second. And last but not least, obviously the three-prong approach. One is we want to migrate you, start using the features that will help you, and if you are a needer of project accounting, then we have the functionality, as Rich always talks about, with Progressys. So with that, there is a document, and I was just speaking with Diane. I was hoping to have a link to it, but this pretty much this information that I just presented to you on the slides that are coming up is available in a fact sheet that you can start using and delivering out to your customers. All right, so let's first talk about the cloud migration. This is actually just officially going live as of this week. So it's been out there. We've been waiting for Microsoft to finally publish it, and it is available. So if you've heard it in the past, you've probably heard something for our SL CSMs, that there's something called the Intelligent Cloud. We still have that Intelligent Cloud idea, but we're considering it something new called this Cloud Migration Tool. The big deal that we have here is that this new feature functionality will allow us to run a migration that will take data out of the customer's database and copy it into a Business Central solution. That's whether they're on SL 2018, which is the latest version, or SL 2015, both of those. Now, it can be used for multiple reasons. It can be used that, hey, they want to test things out. I know I'm working with Ernie on one of his large customers, so we're going to use it initially just to move some data over so they can get a feel of what Business Central is, play around with it with their own data inside of that. And that's kind of when if you would have talked to me about a year ago, that's as far as Intelligent Cloud would go. But the way it's working now is we've enhanced it. So actually it's bringing over a lot of the information you need to actually go live. So this is a new option for us to bring people over with this information. It also allows them to bring over their live information as well as historical information. So let me show you really quickly. That's kind of duplicating what I just said. These are the things that it can bring over, obviously master data around counts, our sub-accounts, vendors, customers, inventory, and any open SL documents in those payables, receivables, general ledger area. So that's the high level information. It also does bring over historical information. So if someone needs, hey, I don't want to have SL running in the back office on this old machine. I want to take all of those historical transactions and move them over into a tenant out there to be able to view it. We have that as well. That currently is moving that data into its own Business Central tenant, but we are also working on something Coming up here in the future, that's going to move it into something called the data lake. And think of Azure Data Lake as just a big open area that's very cheap to be able to store large amounts of data. And so that's something that we're working on right now. It is live on AppSource, so I verified it earlier this week. It is live, it's up and running. Any information you might need to get out there, there are fact sheets and so forth out there, and as well as this presentation as well. So again, for our CSMs that are focused on Dynamics SL, we continue to invest and build out our migration tools to make it easier to move our customers over into Business Central. The next thing is the SL overlay. Again, I told you kind of the high level, it is called the SL overlay, so it does get the thought that this is only for Dynamics SL customers, but is not. We purposely went to Microsoft with the idea of creating something to help SL users, so they gave us that moniker. But the way that we built it, as we said before, it's built to work for all Business Central users, not just SL. We have 2 currently scheduled releases, one that happened in the fall and one that we are working on for the spring release. What is included in this fall release was 3 different areas. 1 is recurring journals, next is warning messages, and 3 was shortcut dimensions. And I'm not going to spend time here, we'll actually jump in and show you those so they kind of leave an impression on you. The first thing is that inside of Business Central, there is the idea that when you do a reversing journal, that the reversing journal will post the very next day. We're not used to that in the SL world. We're actually allowing it and usually having post in about a period out. And so what we did, it's very simple. We said that makes sense. For our SL people, we are going to add feature functionality that will allow it to push it out that month. But to make it something that all Business Central people could use is we actually just added a new field called the reversing day formula. So it doesn't have to be a period, doesn't have to be a month, it could be 10 days, it could be whatever you want. This new field enables it for an SL user to make Business Central work the way they want by putting in, for example, 1M, I want it to reverse a month ahead. Or now we've enhanced it for Business Central people to say, hey, I don't want it to reverse the next day. I'm going to put whatever formula I want. So now you can see we're bringing in value add for our SL customers, but to all BC users, now they have that functionality they're used to having or never thought that they could have, but now they do have. The next is our warning messages, and I'm going to kind of scoot through this real quick. Basically, the idea behind this is inside of Business Central are a set of warning messages that can automatically be set up for each user. Now, a big person coming from on-premise to the cloud, we're missing our save button. We're used to when I click the save button, it's going to tell you, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Obviously, in the cloud world, we don't need to worry about those type of things. So what we've done is we've created a set of 25 warning messages that an on-premise person might find of value when they move to Business Central. The nice thing about it is these can be done and set up for each individual user and can be turned on and off for each user. So what does that mean? This means that when they come in here, there's a screen, they can turn the things on and off that they'd like to keep. So if being warned about populating a field that in the SL world we would think you had to populate, but it's Business Central, everything's always being saved, so we don't need to worry about those fields. We see these kind of as training wheels to help all customers that are new to Business Central or all users get up to speed. And the nice thing about it, they can start turning these things off as they go forward and start using Business Central. So they're not locked into always getting these warning messages. And again, we'll have a list of all those different features as well. And the last but not least, this is probably the biggest one that we added here. One of the common things in Business Central is that they have dimensions 1 through 8. But dimensions 1 and 2 are the only ones that are available on every screen. That means that if you have dimensions 3 through 8, you have to click on a button, drill down, get to the details to be able to look at the dimensions 3 through 8. Now to the SL users, this is a big idea because in SL we have something called a sub-account, which has 8 segments, which happens to line up perfectly with dimensions that have 8 segments. So in an SL world, we're used to being able to see all 8 of those dimensions or sub-account segments. We've added that to all the main screens, so the main setup screens, the main data entry screens that you have in the financial areas all now have this. Now, this is a huge ask if you're a Business Central person. This is a big ask of the Business Central world saying, hey, we'd like to have all these dimensions available all the time, not that I have to drill down to them. So we see this is a huge value add and a lot of people asking for this feature. You can come to your Business Central customers and saying, hey, we've already got it. Come look at this. And then also we've got some additional items. It's really a great way to bring this in here. As far as setup and so forth, we included some setup processes. I apologize, it's popping in new screens here. Some ways to initialize information. We're just showing the fact that we also have the ability that these dimensions are available on the setup screens that you see highlighted in red. We also see that it is available here inside of, in this case, the general journal screen, as well as in the sales invoice. So just showing you examples that now all 8 of those dimensions. Very important to our SL customers, but also important to our Business Central customers because they've all been asking to be able to have access to all of those on the main screens. So you see we're really marrying the ideas of, yes, it's helping SL, but it's helping Business Central users out as well. And this is live on AppSource as well. That fall 2020 release is already available and available for people to deploy today. So make sure you're pushing and asking them to start looking at that. Now, along with that, just so you know, on this website, there's an overview video that goes through quickly what I just did. There are fact sheets, a short and long one. There's built-in help files for the people that deploy it, and there's over 10 videos that go through all the features that I just went through really quickly, but describes how they work and so forth. So it's something really you can give to a customer, say deploy it, and if they want to do it on their own, they're going to have all the information they need to get up and be live right away. We are now working on our things for the spring release. We'll talk more about that in the coming months. But we are well down the path of getting a lot of these items done. I won't go into the details today. We'll do that on a later meeting. But no, we're doing so well that we're actually going to be looking into adding more functionality to this as well. So I'm going to skip through those. And then the last one is which Rich has already talked about around advanced project accounting. Again, he's already kind of talked to you about these key areas here. You know, what's the big play? It's Progressys and Business Central together. It's not one is better than the other. As he said, we rely on that. So it's being able to get access. If you've got an old SL customer out there right now, they're probably struggling with the fact that they're on-prem and they're not in the cloud. So they can access it anywhere. They can easily to deploy. They can do multi-language and multi-currency function built into the core product. And then these are, again, just a lot of the things that Rich had said before, you know, the big things of being able to add expense entry, make easy the creation of projects, project forecasting, and so forth. So I'm not going to spend too much on that. The one thing I do want to leave off as I stop here is that there is also a tool to help people migrate from Dynamics SL into Progressys. So we have a tool that'll help light up those Progressys tables, take a lot of that SL data, move it over into the appropriate areas so that when they are done migrating, more of the SL information is populated in Progressys and they're ready to start working inside of Progressys. And that, as always, you would say, is live as well. And with that, I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, obviously Rich and myself are always available to answer those.